the wonders of modern technology. Namaste. Welcome. Happy New Year again. And welcome to our wonderful magical magicians who came out today to help us lift the vibration for this beautiful first day of the new year. Shanti. Shanti, Shanti. Our theme for this morning's meditation is Awaken and Begin Anew. A good theme for the first day of a new year, but a theme that can be applied any day, any time of any day, of any year, in any place that you are. And so we begin, as is always a good place to begin, with a story. Once upon a yogi time. So take a deep breath and relax and make yourself comfortable. Once upon a yogi time, in the ever-present now, there was a little yogi, little yogini, walking through the forest. And she was singing, Om Shanti, 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 Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Ow, ow, ow. That doesn't sound like Om Shanti. Ow, ow, ow. Oh, she hears off in the distance. Well, what am I going to do? Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. The more she chants, the louder she hears this ouch, ouch, ouch. And so she comes to a clearing, and she sees a young woman. Ouch, ouch, ouch. And she says, my dear, it looks like you have a problem. Yes, I'm in so much pain. I have a problem. I tell you what, if you'll just listen to me for a minute, I can help. That would be so great. You just look like that would be great. I would really appreciate that. It's the beginning of a new year, and I'm in so much pain. And the yogi says, okay, it's very simple. Now, you take your one arm, put it back. Doesn't that feel good? A little less pain. Take the other arm, put it back. Doesn't that feel good? Now, step back. Now, my dear, take your attention and just watch your breath for a moment. Take a deep breath. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And the young woman says, oh my, that feels so, oh, I can't do that, it's mine. And she grabs with both arms and both hands and her feet and steps into the thorn bush of her mind. And the yogi says, no, no, no. This isn't necessary. The thorn bush of your mind where all of these thoughts are rising and all these thoughts are falling, they're not yours. They're eternal. They're ever present. You don't have to grab those thoughts. You don't have to hold on to those thoughts. Anytime you want to come back and hold on to those thoughts, trust me, they'll be there. Anytime you would like to be unhappy, trust me, you can come back and do that. But for just this moment, relax, be happy, choose with your new breath to begin anew. And so the young woman says, well, maybe I could do that. Maybe for a little while, maybe for one breath, I could step back from the thoughts of my mind. Just for one breath, I could step back. And for one breath, I could let go of the pain. For one breath, I could let go of my discontent. For one breath, I could let go of the fears of the mind. And so this is the great secret that we share today. Your breath will free you. With every breath that you take, you can begin anew. With every breath that you take, you do begin anew. With every breath that you take, you have the power to create what Sri Shelley Ji would call magic. What Goswami Kriyananda, my guru, would say is creativity. You have the possibility, the potential to move your state of consciousness from this confined state to something else, to something more galactic, something happier, something more joy-filled. I see that there's a woman here with a Cubs t-shirt on. Now, they tell me for decades, people kept saying, I know they can win, I know they can win, I know they can win, I know they can win. It was a mantra. It was a mantra, They're going to win, 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 they're going to win. Now, lots of people kept saying, they're going to win, they're going to win, they're going to win. And year after year after year, at the end of the season, not now, not this time, not this window. It didn't happen. But then one day, something changed. The time gate changed. It was a different time. And all those years of all that mantra, all that affirmation, all that repetition, and something happened. The right time came, and what do you know? A miracle. They finally won, right? This team won. And everybody was just exuberant and jumping up and down and enthusiastic and so very happy. We should learn a lesson from that. Sometimes it takes time to bring into fruition that which we want to bring into fruition. It takes a lot of repetition, a lot of Om Shanti, 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 to bring the peace and equanimity into your life. But then one day, that time gate is going to open and you're going to say, oh my, today I'm happy. Oh yes, I see, today I'm peaceful. Oh yes, I see, I'm content. Yeah, everything may not be wonderful in the world around me, but in the world within me, all is well. Because I kept returning to the same mantra, day after day after day after day after day. And no matter what the hurdles were, I didn't get discouraged. I kept coming back. I had hope. And just like those Cubs fans, they had hope. But you know, it's a good example. It's one we should look to. Why should you have more hope that a sports team would win than hope that you can be happy? This should be a greater hope for you. You should have a greater confidence that you can be happy, a greater confidence that it's your life and you can live it the way that you wish to live it and bring the joy that you wish to bring into your life. This is what the new year is about, is to say, okay, maybe last year I stumbled a bit. Maybe last year there were a lot of hurdles. Maybe last year things happened that I didn't like very much. But I can turn inward and begin again and be confident and have the courage to step forward and to dream your dream. Today is the day for you to begin to dream your dream anew. Each breath that you take is the moment for you to begin your dream anew, to know that you can bring that which you wish into your life. You will bring that which you wish and you need into your life. Here a week ago I was thinking, oh, it would be so nice if there was music at the noon meditation. It would be so wonderful if there was music on the new year. But oh, you know, I didn't want to ask the musicians. And what happens? They turn up and we have music. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that just a wonderful way to start the new year? Now, there are some challenges in life. I think you probably know that by now. You probably have had one or two of those challenges by now. And there are hurdles that we all have. Life is a hurdle race. It's not a straight runway. And even the years or the days or the months where you feel like you're going to jump one hurdle over another hurdle over another hurdle over another hurdle, there will come a time where it'll be nice and smooth and the road will be clear and there won't be any rocks in the road. Except for those few moments of discontent that might rise in your mind during the day. Now this is key. Everything else in your life can be going well. Your finances can be going well, your work can be going well, your music can be going well, your creativity can be going well, your health can be good. All aspects of your life can be good. But the nature of the mind is such that even in the midst of all of this goodness that you've created, all this goodness you've drawn into your life, there still may be moments. There will be moments during the day when your mind will become irritated, when your mind will become critical, self-critical, critical of others, wanting something other than you have. How is it you go into, sit down at a beautiful meal, beautiful restaurant, everything is lovely. And you just don't like the exact color of the tablecloth. And so your mind becomes irritated. Or you don't like the color of the flowers. Or you don't like the type of water they offer. Or as somebody said to me the other day, you know, they don't have any Mountain Dew in this place. No, they don't. No, they don't. They usually don't have Mountain Dew in restaurants like this. What do? Do you grab a hold of that thought and make it yours and feed that discontent? Or do you say, isn't that interesting? No, I guess they don't have Mountain Dew in good vegetarian restaurants most of the time. I guess I'll have to go down to the 7-Eleven if I want Mountain Dew, but for right now, I'm going to drink water. Now, that may be a silly example, or, seem like it's a silly example, but in every day, we have these choices. We have moments, and the moments are such that everything can be well, and the mind will have a thought that will rise, that will allow it, if you let it, to become discontent, to become unhappy in the midst of your greatest joys, your greatest blessings, your greatest bounty. Your mind has the capacity to become discontent. But in Kriya Yoga, we have this beautiful word. It's called Kriya. And Kriya means creativity. This means that you have the capacity to train your mind, to discipline your mind, so that you gain the skill that when that thought rises, that thought of discontent rises, you can say, isn't that interesting? I think I will let this go. Isn't that interesting? I'm not this thought. Thoughts are eternal. Thoughts are immortal. You're not thinking a new thought. Whether it's a thought of beauty and love and joy, whether it's a thought of wisdom, equanimity, or it's a not so pleasant thought. Let go of your attachment to the idea that the thought belongs to you. It does not. It's just a thought. So here's the key. It's just a thought. You don't have to make it more important than all of the other billions of thoughts in the world, unless you choose to do so. There is a principle in yogic philosophy. It's called the laws of karma. And this philosophy states that we create everything in our lives. Everything that comes into your life, you have created. And therefore that you have the ability to change everything that manifests in your life. The entire basis of Kriya Yoga is predicated upon humankind's ability to change their karma. The whole system of Kriya Yoga is based upon your ability to change your karma, upon your ability to change your thought from this thought that is confining to a thought that is expansive, joyful, wondrous, peace-filled. Whatever you want, you can bring into your life. All you have to do is think the thought. Think a new thought. Now, here's the rub, really. Today in the world, you're living in an environment where most of us, most of you, I look back out and I see a lot of younger people, and I know that sometimes you're living in an environment where a thought rises in your mind, and instead of going to your mouth like it used to, or instead of stopping in your mind, it goes to your thumbs. You know what I mean? It goes to your thumbs. It goes to your Twitter, or your Snapchat, or your Facebook, or your whatever. It goes from your mind out of your thumbs. Now, this means that today we have a new form of self-discipline that we must follow if you're going to find peace and equanimity. And this is called a particular kind of new fast, right? It is fasting from using these methods through which the thought goes from your mind, and instead of going out to your mouth, or instead of having Mona silence, it goes out the thumbs. A fast. You know what a fast means? It means that for a period of time, and I can hear my guru saying, tell him, just a short period of time, little bit, not a long, little bit. He always used to say, just a little bit of time. If you stop doing it for a little time, something miraculous will happen. There's a physics principle, and in this principle, if you are applying a great deal of energy, pressure to something, there is only so much energy that can be expended. But if you stop for a moment, just a nanosecond, literally, you can go back with renewed energy and move forward with that which needs to be done. And so this idea of a fast is to say, for 5 minutes, you turn off your devices. And I don't mean put it in your purse or put it in your wallet. I mean, they have off buttons. They have off, really, they do. And I had a great conversation. It was just the most remarkable conversation with a woman about 6 weeks ago, right at the beginning of December. And I'll tell you, it just knocked my socks off. Very articulate person. And I suggested that she try to meditate, and she said she couldn't. She had too many things to do. And she felt a constant pressure to be checking her phone or her computer. And I said, well, what do you do when you go to sleep? And she said, oh, I turn my computer off when I go to sleep. That's great. How many devices do you have in your house? Well, I have my computer, I have a tablet, and I have a phone. And you turn off the computer. Yes, I turn off the computer. Well, what about the phone and the tablet? Well, I put those in the other room. And I said, well, can you hear them when you're asleep? And she said, no. And I said, why don't you try to turn them off? And bless her, she really gave me a great blessing, and I hope you also the great blessing. She said, I don't think I can do that. I don't think I can do that. It's too much for me to turn it off. It's enough for me to go and put it in the other room. Now, you know, the first iPhone was introduced in 2007. This year, that's a 10-year mark. So I imagine there were Androids, smartphones by other companies introduced after that. The first tablet was introduced in 2011. That's only 6 years ago. That means that your whole state of consciousness has changed, has markedly changed. Your whole interaction with the world has markedly changed in this short period of time. What you have to do, what I have to do, what has to be done if you carry these devices around is you have to recognize, I guess this is like the buggy whip manufacturer, right? The days when we had horses and buggies and that was the only means of transportation. And the buggy whip manufacturer could keep producing buggy whips, or he could learn to retool his tools and manufacture cars. Well, we're trying to find happiness, we're trying to find enlightenment. All of a sudden, you're living in a new world. You're living in a world where, a few moments back I said, think a new thought. But now you're living in a new world where you are being, if you live like the majority of people do in this country today, certainly the majority of young people, you are being exposed to the thoughts of others. Lots of others, lots of new thoughts, one after another, after another, after another, in a very, very short time. Where then, my dear beloved, where is there room for you to think the new thought of your own happiness, to think the thought of your joy, to think the thought that says, aha, this is what I want with my incarnation. This is what I need. Where is the time to think that new thought? And so, as the days of old, we would fast from speaking, fast from sleeping, fast from eating particular kinds of food, fast from doing a particular activity. Now we have a new kind of a fast, fasting from using technology or particular kinds of technology. It is a great blessing, let me tell you, it is a great blessing. I'm not saying that it's not. But you and I, we must be aware of what it's doing to our consciousness. You're trying to bring your consciousness into a state of balance, into a state of unity, into a state of unification, oneness, so that you for yourself can understand what is of value to you, what is important to you, what your life is about. You know, I'll tell you, this incarnation, you've worked so hard to gain these beautiful human bodies. This is your incarnation, your unique incarnation. You have the right to be happy here, and the right to have it unfold as you wish it to, with ever greater joy and happiness and peace and equanimity and fun. You have the right to have fun, to go to the Cubs game and yell as loud as you can, to have a good time. I think you can even eat peanuts and other things there. Popcorn, they tell me. And if we wait a few years, you'll be able to get on your phone and order a T-shirt, and they'll drop it down in the stadium for you, right while you're waiting. Okay? Now here's something very important. It is vital to become aware of the ways and the means in which your mind is being manipulated. Now you may say, well, nobody's manipulating me. And I would say, well, I am not so sure that this is true. Your mind absorbs what you see, what you hear. Your mind absorbs that which is repeated to you. And so, just as each of us have ways that we would like everybody else to live their lives, everybody else wants us to live our lives in the way they wish us to. The greatest, I think, one of the greatest ways to gain your own freedom is to step back and commit to yourself, to make a commitment to respect others. Simply to respect them. But here's the thing. Respecting them means you have to, at the very depth of your being, you have to respect their right to have a point of view that's different than yours. And not become upset when they have a point of view that's different than yours. You have to be able to, one has to be able to say, well, you know, if I'm upset because their point of view is different than mine, then I would imagine they're equally or more upset that my point of view is different than theirs. Even if we know that you're right. Even if you know in the very depth of your soul, I am right. It doesn't matter. You know, it goes back to what my guru used to say all the time. Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? You want to be right or do you want to be happy? I would guarantee you it's much easier to choose being happy because you can never be right 100% of the time. And it's a little bit of a struggle to want to be right all the time. But here's the point. To respect another is to simply accept them as they are. And then look in the mirror and accept yourself as you are. Just accept yourself as you are. Let go of the desires to change everybody. Let go of the desires to change other people's lives. And how do you do this? You begin by being adventuresome. You know, if you're here in Chicago today, as we are in a really fantastic, just like this most wonderful, magical place. You know, getting on the train or the L or getting in your car, getting on your bicycle, you can go and get to a Korean restaurant, you can get to Mexican, you can get to Thai, you can get to Spanish, you can get to Peruvian, you can get to Venezuelan, Chinese of all parts of China, Japanese, Southern American, Mexican. I'm sure there are more than that. Oh, Tibetan, vegetarian, non-vegetarian, Brazilian. The food of the people helps you to understand their states of consciousness. You know, we're in Chicago. You know, you are, for those of you who are here at the temple, 15 minutes away from a couple of great movie theaters that you can see all kinds of foreign films. You can see films from Sweden, from Iran, from Greece, from all over Europe. Any day of the week, you can see a film from another language, in another language from another country. You can go to other parts of the city and you can hear people speaking another language. What that does is it opens your horizon of awareness. It opens your ability to see, to hear something other than your own universe, something other than your own frame of reference. And so, one of the great yogic principles is to travel. Travel wherever you can, study whatever you can, go wherever you want to go. My gosh, go to Devon Avenue. We're very close to Devon Avenue, and You can go to all parts of India on Devon Avenue. You can shop for clothes, you can shop for food, you can eat from the north of India, the south of India. Do you know in Chicago, this city has the most different kinds of tortillas, I am told, than any place else in the world. Because we have so many different people from so many different parts of Mexico that we have more different kinds of tortillas. Now, I certainly haven't sampled all of them, but wouldn't that be an interesting thing to do, right? But why? Why? So you can see that there's another perspective. There's something different than your horizon of awareness. Because if I can see, if I'm only looking here, all I can see is the Buddha. But if I expand, I can see all of your beautiful faces. You know, there's that saying that the thumb can block out the sun if it's close enough. You don't want to do that. To become happy, allow yourself to see others' points of view. A couple of decades ago, on New Year's Eve, I landed in Bangkok, and we were driving. It was very middle of the night, and we were driving from the airport to the hotel. And as we were driving along, there were rows upon rows upon rows along the side of the highway of metal shacks. And if you grew up in Chicago, these shacks look like the newspaper stands that used to be on the corner. You know, you'd go down to the corner and you'd buy your newspapers. Yeah, some of you know them. They're corrugated aluminum. You know, blame it on jet lag, I don't know. I said to the driver, are those stands that people are, selling things in? I knew that there were far too many for it to all be newspaper stands, And he said, no, ma'am. Those are people's homes. That's where people live. It was my first time in Asia, and I must say that I was very shocked. And later on in that trip, I saw people living along the river and saw people living along the Gulf of Siam in corrugated shacks. And then a few years later in India, saw people living in cardboard and under plastic. And many people around the world without homes of any type, of any place. We need to go see how other people live. We need to go see the karma that other people have in their lives. We need to go recognize what we have and what is different, what they have. And we need to be able to accept and respect others. If you can just do that. I had a discussion many decades ago that really stuck with me to this moment. And I was talking to someone about a philosophical matter. And the person said to me, I thought you respected me. And I said, well, I do. I said, I respect you very much. And he said, no, you don't. It's just like, no, you don't. And I said, well, yes, I do. And he said, and my only excuse is I was pretty young. He was right. He said, you are trying to convince me of your position. You say you're listening to my point of view, but when you're listening, I can feel that as you're listening, you're coming up with the arguments to convince me to change my mind. And I sat back and I thought, whoa, he's right. And I apologized. I said, I am really sorry. I am going to do my best to try not to ever do that again. I don't know that I've been successful because I think it's very hard to truly respect the other and to just simply say, we differ, we have different views. You know, it's like the kaleidoscope. You look at one end and I look at the other end and we see different pictures. But we must try. We must try and recognize that the other person's view is just as valid as ours. It's their view. And if you're going to be happy in this new year, try that. Try to let go of the need to be right and recognize and respect the other. And it will be easy. It will become easier. It becomes easier by learning new things about life, learning new languages, going to different places, traveling, talking to people from different cultures, eating their food. Commit to accepting yourself. You are unique. Like a snowflake, like your thumbprint. You're unique. Now, I was restudying a teaching that my guru gave a long time ago, and he said something and I thought, oh, this is interesting. So I went and did it, and I thought I would share it with you. Here's the task, the practice. Take a piece of paper and list all of the good things about yourself. And try to get to 108. Yeah. All the skills you have, all the good attributes you have, everything that you can think of that you would admire about yourself. And try to get to 108. Now, the first couple, you might hesitate a little bit, okay? But just keep going. I encourage you to do it. It's very enlightening. And when you're finished with it, it feels quite wonderful. Oh man, geez, I didn't realize that. And you can keep going beyond the 108. Keep it and add to it. And every time you can think of something more wonderful about yourself, that you think, a skill that you have, your ability, a capability that you have, add to that. And you will find that it will be quite joy-filled. You see, things like you can walk, you can speak, you can write, you can communicate. Many of you have children, young children, or around young children, and we have a great niece who just turned 1. And a few months ago, she was learning to walk. And so she would kind of, she'd stand up and then she'd fall, she'd stand up and then she'd fall. Well, now she's learned to walk, and so she runs and then plops herself down and rolls around, gets up and runs again and plops herself down and rolls around and, up and down. But I can see now how it is such an effort for her to figure out how to use this body. It's taken her a while. And she still can't speak. She's trying. She'll say all kinds of things. She's learning how to reach. She's learning how to blow kisses. All these things that you can do that you too had to learn. You had to learn to be able to do all those things, to live in the world as you are today. And so remember that as you're making your list of 108 things to do. And so we're going to close today We'll have some meditation, some mantra as we close, but remember that your universe is your chakras, your spinal column. This is your universe. Every breath gives you the opportunity to begin anew. Every breath gives you the opportunity to move from a state of confinement to a state of joy, of happiness, of equanimity, of bliss, of ananda, 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 ananda. A thought arises in your mind, and you're not happy with the thought. Remember that great mantra, neti, neti, neti. I'm not the thought thinking this thought. I'm not this thought. I'm not the thought thinking this thought. I am not thought. And begin anew with a new thought, with a new breath. Now, there's an affirmation that I would like to leave you with. And this is a very special affirmation that Goswami Kriyananda left us with. And one that can be used continually for the rest of your life without any boredom, really, and with an ever-increasing sense of beauty and wonder and support and relief, I think. And so here it is. Free me from my negative thoughts, that I do not pass them on to others. Free them, free me. Free me from my negative thoughts, that I do not pass them on to others. Free them, free me. Free me from my negative thoughts, that I do not pass them on to others. Free them, free me. Repeat this mantra, this affirmation rather, as you wake up in the morning. Repeat it as you walk through the day. Repeat it as you're falling asleep at night. As you repeat the affirmation, you will free yourself. Your behavior will change. Your relationship with others will change. Your attitude will change. You see, free me from my negative thoughts, that I do not pass them on to others. You say it and you will realize, aha, if I want to be free from these negative thoughts, that I do not pass them on to others. Free them, free me. Then as the negative thoughts rise in your mind, and you say this affirmation, you will find something kind and beautiful to say. You will find something gracious and warm and loving to say. You will be able to speak sweetly. And you will free yourself, and they will also be freed. And so I would ask if we might ask our musicians to lead us in the Om Shanti Om mantra. As Swami Mahashastrananda said in the beginning, The Om is the sound which represents the totality of all existence. Shanti is the great, deep, abiding peace. And so we will conclude our meditation this morning, chanting together for a few moments and then sitting in silence with this Om Shanti mantra. Shanti.